Morning, Janet.
Good morning, Barry.
Welcome to the allotments. The allotments, they go way back to the Middle Ages, really, when people wanted allotment and they realised that people had to feed themselves.
Yeah.
But the latest one is 1950, just after the war, when they decided that people ought to help with the food effort, and so the parish council was told to make provision for allotments. So you'll find in the allotment agreement, if you became a tenant here, you have to sign, and it all goes back to the Allotment Act 1948 or 1950, etc.
Okay.
So these are owned by the parish council.
Right.
We've got the notice board up there. Well, that's got contact details on, so anybody who wants to have an allotment has got my details, they can apply.
Right.
Currently have a waiting list. We've got about 40 tenants at the moment.
Right.
That doesn't mean we've got 40 sites, some share. Traditionally, the allotment was in rods. It was 10 rods by 30 rods.
Okay.
So what we do now, we do 10 metres by 30 metres as a standard allotment.
Right.
And you can have halves and you can have quarters. When we took over, as we go in, you'll see we've developed the allotments because they were quite massive going over the fields. But after 1960s, 70s, people weren't using them, so the parish council took the land back.
Right.
So we've claimed some back,
Yeah.
but it's not the same size as 30 metres. So we've got odd sizes here, so we're completely avant-garde in our sizes.
Good old Seer Green.
This here is dedicated to John Evans,
Yeah.
who was allotment holder here for many, many years. In fact, his dear wife is still holding an allotment here. And we use this for surplus produce. So yeah, we just put it on there and people come and take it away. We have so many courgettes that there's quite a few left here. We have to get rid of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But for a plot, it'll cost you about £20 a year.
Right.
You can afford that.
Yeah, just about. I can run to that.
So the Allotment Association now run the allotments for the parish council.
Right.
We have our own charges of £10 a year, which enables us to do certain things. And when someone joins, they pay £25 to get into the fund, if you like.
Right.
So, yeah, and it's good.
Really
It's
nice
good. And on the allotment, of course, we have paupers and kings. They're all the same. You know what I mean? Here in the allotment, as you come through the gate, you can forget about what you were and who you are.
Good.
That's it. So let me take you for a little tour around.
I'd love to see.
Yeah, I've had allotment here since about mid-1980s. Gordon's the longest. He's over there.
Right.
He's not well. He's in hospital at the moment, poor Gordon. And of course, John Evans was the next one. So I'm about third in line in heritage. This is our friend Caven here. Caven has a wife, unfortunately, who's in a wheelchair these days, and he decided to convert his allotment into one that's suitable for people with physical disabilities, mainly bending over. And so he's just built this year, this one here, which is available for people who would like to use it with a wheelchair. So it's an open invitation to anybody in the village, including Jordans, who would like to have an allotment but are physically have some sort of disability, and this would help them to come along and use part of Caven's allotment,
Really
which is
good
so
idea.
kindly offered to us.
That's a great idea.
In fact, we use his shed, which is a very nice shed, as the first aid centre as well.
Okay.
Now, the one on the right has just been taken over by someone else, and they're now getting it ready for themselves. So they've erected their little greenhouse here. The one at the back here, we've got quite small allotments on this side. People don't like big allotments. So these days we've got more and more. We're doing small allotments.
Yeah.
So they've got sort of half-size allotments. Yeah. And depending on what you want to grow, some people like to grow flowers and not so many vegetables. So the Bronwyn,
Yes.
which is behind you here,
Yes.
has a lot of flowers
She does.
growing. Yeah.
And
Yeah, Bronwyn's lovely purple sheds and her little pond. Right in the middle. She's a little nature lover.
yes, she is.
all the allotments on the right here are the original ones.
Right.
And originally they went way back beyond the border. But when I came up here, all this was wild. And we've taken over this plot from the playing field for the parish council, and we've redeveloped all that lot now. And so, you know, we've doubled the size of the allotments, what, 15, 20 years ago. And the latest effort is we're now doing the border. It was basically unmanaged, and so we've stripped the border out and now put a lot of saplings in. And we're really, you know, as an association, we're quite active in keeping the allotments really, you know, thriving. Yes. And we have a very good allotment social.
Good.
Prior COVID and post COVID, there will be all sorts of barbecues and bonfires and lots of food. The ladies make lovely food. There's Charlotte over there who makes a delicious beetroot chocolate.
Fine.
Oh dear, very nice.
Good.
So at the top here we've got some blackcurrant bushes, and again, there's always about 6 other things want to eat it before you get to it.
Yeah.
So mainly this is birds, so you can see I've got a bit of netting around it, and eventually it'll be covered with netting when the fruit's here.
Okay.
Yeah. Here we've got my onion patch, which needs weeding, but you know, you've got the garlic, you've got the shallots, you've got the white onions, you've got the red onions. So this year that's my onions. Right, we've got 2 types of raspberry here.
Yeah.
We've got the early raspberry and we've got the late raspberry, which you can see are quite low.
Oh yeah.
There were 1 or 2 early raspberries grow all the time. And again, we protect this from the birds eating just by putting some simple strings across these large, tall, yeah?
And that puts the birds off?
The birds can't flap, pigeons especially, they don't like it.
No. Okay.
So they won't land. So all you need is a simple string going across various ways, and maybe a few old CDs which flash the light.
Shiny, yeah.
Yeah? Soft fruit is one of the best things you can grow on an allotment because you can store it, you can make jam out of it, you can make coulis out of it, and of course it's the most economic thing to grow, really.
Yeah. And delicious.
Yes, and delicious. So a bit further on I'll show you the, well, we can see, here you can see the red currant bushes.
Yeah.
And again, as soon as they start forming the fruit, they're going to be covered with netting to keep the pesky blackbirds off. Yes. In the tunnel here, we've got some green kale and red kale.
Oh, red kale.
Yes. You like your blackberry, yeah? Let me tell you, this is worth 10 blackberries.
Oh, is it mulberry?
It's a tayberry.
Tayberry.
It's a tayberry. Now you see all this growth here?
Yes.
That's 1 year's growth.
Wow.
1 year's growth, and I will get kilos of tayberries.
Okay.
Tayberry being a mixture of a blackberry and a raspberry.
Wow.
And so you get all the loveliness without the centre bit in a blackberry.
In a blackberry. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm planning, I'm putting some other stuff in here. So as I don't really plan too much ahead. I do it on the instance, oh well, we'll have that in here.
Yes.
So it's ready to go. I'm not too sure what I'm going to put in here yet. These are all my beetroot in here.
Oh, wow.
And again, when you put seedlings in, yeah, like beetroot seedlings, make a trough and then water it, get it soaking, yeah? Then you can put your finger in the mud and put the seedling in, yeah?
Yeah.
And then the water will also collect in the troughs, yeah?
Okay, great. That's
Good.
Really
So that's what I always do. I always put channels in. What we have here, all the way along the border, we have feverfew. Smell it.
Oh yeah, gosh, that's really strong.
It is. And it's a lovely flower, and it comes up with a daisy on. And the name, they used to use it
As a
as
medicinal.
medicinal. So it grows lovely, and it smells lovely. So I put it all around the border.
Yeah.
Yeah. All my beetroot initially I grow in rainwater gutter, okay, and also peas and beans, anything. This is supported because otherwise the mice will get in here.
Okay.
And another tip, when you're outside, if you do plant your peas or beans outside, you make a little hole and you put a bean or a pea in. Always make sure the ground is level afterwards. Otherwise, the little things will come along and see there's a little dip in the ground, and they will think food, and they will dig down and pinch them. Right? So whenever you plant anything which they can eat, make sure there's no indentations. Now this is all eggshell, which you can put, which I've put all around my brassicas and my lettuce, which means the slugs won't come anywhere near them. All right? So you don't have to throw your eggshells away. You can bring them up here and scatter them. Yeah, and also toilet rolls. certain flowers and certain vegetables don't like their roots disturbed, and if you want to grow them and then plant them out, so what you can do here, these are zinnias. Yeah, they don't like to be disturbed. So these are all toilet rolls which have been shoved into a pot, and I do the same, and I'll show you outside when we go outside in a minute. The parsnips.
Oh,
All right.
that's a good tip.
So all I do now, because these are nearly ready now, you don't want the roots to go down too long. Yeah. So these are nearly ready, so I'll just pull that out, make a hole, stick it in the ground.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. But in here we have some very nice crown prince squash. Do you know crown prince squash? The best squash. That big, brilliant, bright orange inside. Fantastic. We've got, which is going out hopefully today, some leeks.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got corn on the cob, which will go out once the frost here. I've got all sorts of plants here. These are marigolds, because they're, again, if you put them around the plot, the black fly don't like them. Yeah. I've got some very nice, which I'm going to do it for the garden sale, is honesty.
Okay.
Going to pot those up. So yeah, we've got everything coming on in here. I've got even got some asparagus down here. So there's a little asparagus. You see little asparagus?
It's very tiny.
Yeah.
Is that from seed?
A seed, yeah. So they're going to go out the back here. Yeah. So here, Janet, you can see we've got the parsnips here, which grew in the toilet roll.
Yeah.
And again, because parsnips have got a fairly low growth rate, you know, with the seeds, success rate, I always put 2 in. Yeah.
Yes.
So lots of times, the generally 2 will come up, but they do not want to come up. But I don't separate them; they grow together. They'll be right. They'll be right.
You don't have to thin them out.
Part of my lockdown this year was clearing a lot of this background.
Right.
And I then decided to put a path down. So I've been laying this path all the way along.
It's like the yellow brick road.
Well, that's it. Everyone says that, but it's not yellow. You
No,
see, it's
but
red.
I mean,
it's the red brick road.
It's slightly...
I'm not a good road layer, but it's nice, isn't it? Yes.
Really nice.
So let's go and have a look at these fruit cage down here. This is, you know, my fruit cage. Well, it's a cage which I move all over the plot. Sometimes I grow brassicas in it, sometimes I don't. But you can see here, I've got some kale on brassicas planted all round. And again, at this stage, because to stop the birds pecking them, I have got the string here. But once they grow, because they're next to something, the pigeons won't land on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's quite amazing, really. I moved this, it was up the far end of the plot this last year. So I moved it this year, and there was a bit of kale up there, which was next to it, you know. And as soon as I moved it, bloody pigeons and a lot.
Straight down.
So, yeah, if you grow anything next to something, you're safe from pigeons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? So also what we do, we try to encourage people to use or gain an allotment. And people come and say, I would like an allotment. And if we can, what we do, we say to them, well, look, why don't you come and take over part of mine?
Yes.
And see if you like it. And that way, you know, you... So, yeah, everyone deals with their allotments differently.
Yeah.
You've got the bank manager, who will have a very nice, orderly, yeah. And then you'll have people who may be a bit more avant-garde. If you go, when you're going to go and see John B in a minute, and these bees, you'll see his is very, very nice, very nicely laid out. But that's John for you. During lockdown, we can spend hours up here.
Yeah.
And then now the weather's fine, my dear wife can bring my dinner up and we can sit down and have a sandwich together.
Well, that's very good of her. Or you could make
Well,
your
she
own
enjoys
in the
it. Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, we've got gooseberries here. Love it. Soft fruit's the best thing out.
Yeah.
Soft fruit.
Lovely.
Soft
Barry,
fruit.
thank you. It's been so interesting. Thank
Good.
you for showing us round.
It's all right.
It's been really good. As I said, never really been up here before because if you don't have an allotment, then you've
No.
got no particular need to. But you know, now I'm looking at my garden thinking, maybe, maybe.